from Monday. How do you put a logo on your neutral letter? All right. So, and I realized, some of these, some of you have already, you've been through this process probably a few times to create a custom document. But Sandra's asking, how do you put a logo on your neutral letter? So the neutral letter, obviously the first letter that comes out of the Investment Dominator that we want to generate, that goes out to our customers. So if you wanted to put your logo on your neutral letter, this equates to what we call a custom document. So some of you that may not have the neutral letter, but you want to put a logo on your offers or whatever, basically you need to create a custom document. So I'm just going to carry you through how I would do that. I'm going to go under help, and a lot of times under search our user guide, I'm just going to type in Jack, okay, because with Jack's name comes up a lot. And how to customize Jack's offer templates, how to customize Jack's neutral letter. And because you want to put a logo on there, we're actually going to be creating a custom document. So you just select that article, and it gives you step by step here how to generate an actual custom document. Okay. Now the important thing to know here is if you're going to, let's say you're going to change the neutral letter, you want to follow these steps. When you get down to here where you're going to put in the document content, and I'll take this offline here just for a minute so I can show you what I'm talking about. It's going to be coming in here and kind of under customize. Under customize, we want to go custom documents. All right. Okay. Okay. So we want to add a document here. Okay. And once we add a document, we're going to say this is going to be for land only. And when I go to document type, I'm going to choose both. Now there is I think there's an article or two, or there's some, I've already may have demoed this in another file. So if you talk about, creating a custom document, you'll get a lot of, you should get another recording of exactly with a video of how I created a custom document. And we'll just say, Sandra's custom neutral. Okay, we're going to call it that. Status, obviously, we're prospect. Status, don't worry about portrait. You're not going to insert any of the merged fields. Now, when it comes to this document content here, this is where it gets important. What you want to do, this is actually a link because it's going to bring up the content in HTML of this specific neutral letter. So you select that and you see you have this HTML code. Well, we don't expect you to know how to generate HTML, but we do want you to copy all of this. So you just hold your left click down on your cursor, or if you don't have that, you might have to do a Control key down, and A selects all of it just the same. So then you do a Control C to copy. You want to copy this particular information. Okay, and we're copying this information. We're going to bring it into this document content, but you want to hit this source first. You hit source so that it disables all of this HTML, these HTML functions, right? So you're just going to copy it in. Now you do a Control V as in Victor. Control V to copy and paste, to paste all of this in, okay, because we've already copied it. So now you have your HTML. We don't expect you to modify this. So you come up here and you hit source again, and you see it puts it in a more readable format there. That's your neutral letter, basically. Okay, so right here, let's say if I wanted to put my logo right in here, I have to already have my logo on the system, and you want to remember your logo has to be a certain width. I think it's like 54 pixels high and 119 pixels wide, something like that for your logo. But your logo has to be able to fit within this particular area, right? So then we can go out and we can pull an image, right? Because now that we've got all of these enabled, we hit source again, so it enables all the HTML functions that we can go out, and I think you can hit image. Now we want to upload that to our server, our Investment Dominator server. So we hit this upload. So we've got to choose it wherever it's at on our system. And right now, I think mine is located. Okay, so you see, I've got all these different logos, right? So your logo could be obviously your company logo. That's got to be able to fit. Let's just go on and pull this one here with the blacks and any of these logos that you see. Your logo must be a PNG or a JPEG file extension. So it's got to be .jpg or .png, either one. All right, let's pull this one in. So I just selected that. Now, once I bring it here, I'm not done. See, a lot of folks miss this step. They go down and they hit OK, and they think, okay, well, it should bring it in. But you have to send it to the server first. So we brought it into a buffer area within Investment Dominator, but now we're going to actually send this image to our Investment Dominator server. So we're going to left click on that, and as you can see, it brings it in. Now, once it's in, of course you can play around with the height of it to make it smaller or larger, but let's just hit OK. And as you can see now, it brings that right into my document. So that's usually where you might put it, where you have some space. And then the rest of make sure we know the rest of the commands that we want to put in here. Let's see, we want to say this is a label. The rest of this can be yes. We allow export data. We allow bulk update. And per each property, of course, we'll lay that. And we can say our next status would be mailed letter 1. And so now when I say add this, it's going to create a custom neutral letter. So I add this, and you should see, I have a few custom neutral letters in here, obviously a custom document. I think it's going to place it right at the end. Here it is, Sandra's custom neutral letter. So thanks to Alex and his infinite wisdom there, or not infinite wisdom, but his wisdom, we can do a document preview here. This is a really cool function because the way it used to be, you had to go all the way back into your land deals records and you have to bring it up to see what it looks like. Now we can preview it after we just created it here. So this is a preview of your neutral letter, and there you have with your particular logo on there. Now, the great thing about this is we've got that example there, but it doesn't have to be just a logo. You can actually bring an image or a picture, a little picture. Some folks have pictures of their husband and wives, or some pictures of them skiing or whatever. They put on they customize their documents. So you have now created your custom document with your logo on it. of course. Now, when it comes down to actually seeing that document and seeing it on, let's just say I select this prospect record here, which actually, it would actually be in mailed letter 1. No, it's neutral letter, so it's going to be in prospect status. And let's say generate documents. So I can't look for it here because this is the built-in neutral letter without any modifications. I've got to always look for my custom documents in this custom template area. That's something else that folks make a mistake. They say, oh, well, I changed the neutral letter, but they go in here and look and they don't see their custom logo on there because we customize the document. So this now brings up a list of all your custom documents. See right down here, Sandra's custom neutral letter. So when I open this particular neutral letter, as you can see, and as soon as I enable editing, it brings in the version of that neutral letter that has my logo. This is kind of a large logo, so we have to adjust so that it's all fitting on one page. But you can see the idea is where you would look for it in this list when you get ready to produce or to print that particular logo. All right. Let's move on from there. Hopefully that gives you an idea, Sandra, how you would actually change your document so that it brings in your neutral letter that has your custom logo on it. So we had a question with regards to, I think, the last demo I did here from Amato, and he says that when it comes to experience, he said that when I import data, like example, like 97 records, it says only 24 records added after I hit the upload. How can I avoid pulling records that I've already pulled, probably sometimes in my past research? Amato, I think I understand what you're saying, but that's in here for your safety. You can't avoid pulling those records because let's say I import 300 records, and if either the owner already exists or that property already exists, the property has the same APN, that's a fail-safe that Investment Dominator has to prevent you from having duplicate owner records or duplicate property records. So Amato's asking, how to avoid pulling records or pulling data that has already been uploaded in the past. Okay. So you have to understand the way Investment Dominator works. First of all, we have property ID records. Now that's in one database. Think of that being one complete separate file. Then you have an owner database. So that's a separate database with all of our owners that are within the Investment Dominator. So if an owner has multiple parcels, this John Robertson could have 4 or 5 parcels. Each of these parcels that he owns has a unique property identifier, and that gets added to his property ID record. So if I go in here and look at his owner ID here is 327, right? So 327. Now, his owner ID may be 327, but his property ID for this one parcel is 456. Well, he could have another parcel, it could be 457, but it'll have the same owner ID. So if you import now additional records for John Robertson with the same address, etc., but a different APN number, the system knows, okay, well, I've already got an owner, John Robertson, so I don't need to add a brand new owner record. What I need to do is add an additional property record. So it's a separate piece, it's a separate data that comes in, and that's by design so that we don't have multiple owner records for one owner. It's the same owner record, but multiple property ID records. And I hope I'm explaining in a way that you can see how it is in the data. So there's no way to really avoid pulling, but it's there for your safety, okay? So that you don't have a whole bunch of records in the database that are unnecessary. All right, thank you. I'm glad you got that. Let's move on here. For those of you that are mailing out, let's see. Okay, we have a good question here from, let's see who asked this question. Oh, Elda asked this question on Monday. And Elda's asking, for those of you who are this is for those of you that are mailing out your own neutral letters. So Elda said she just finished importing her list into Investment Dominator. Okay, so just imported a list, and when I'm getting ready to input the addresses in into the envelopes, do I use labels? Yes. Should we use labels? Yes, Elda. I would really encourage you to use labels. It's easier, and I use the peel and stick ones that that can go on your letters going out, so it looks more professional. And if you want to know the size of those, they're usually two for the owner's address, name and address. We use 2x4 size. I'm going to call your attention to a location in your Investment Dominator. Come under Help, search our user guide, and type in the word resources. Okay, so Help, search our user guide, type in resources, and this is going to bring up a series of, we have a couple of articles here, but we also have this main article. What printing supplies and resources do we use with the Investment Dominator? So left click on that, and it'll show you the different printing supplies and the sizes that we use. And here, this is exactly what we use. We use a 2x4 labels for our offers. We have ITI or letterprinting.net print out all of our actual neutral letters. But if you're doing your own neutral letters, you want to use a label like this, especially for your owner's name and address information, because it gives plenty of room. And those are the resources. And again, I was sharing on the call that we had just on Monday and Tuesday. We get these at Walmart, these Avery labels, and get them at a pretty reasonable price. So you can shop there, or maybe if you have access to a supplier of that kinds of office equipment or office supplies that can give you a better price, go for it. But that's those are the sizes that we look at for our resources. Okay. All right, we'll get rid of that one, and we'll get rid of that. Okay, very good. Hope that gets you a little insight there. And Abner was asking a question from Monday. I don't know if Abner's on the line, but this has to do with the domains. Do we need 3 separate domains for our sites in Investment Dominator? And that is absolutely not. No, you don't need 3. A lot of folks think they get a little confused. Let's see if I use this account here. They get a little confused. They look under websites and they see, you know, you have a buying site, you have an opt-in page, and you have a selling site. So they think they have to have 3 different domains for each of these. And actually, you're only using a domain for your buying site and use another domain for your selling site. This opt-in page, that if I were to execute that, okay, it comes up here so that people can type in their first name and their email address and you opt in. That opt-in page is actually associated with your selling site. So there's no need to have a domain for that since you've already got a domain for your selling site. We simply, when the person accesses your selling site domain, first thing we display is this opt-in page. So nope, you only need 2 domains, period, and you're fine, okay? Hopefully that gets you, relieves a little concern on your part, Abner. Now we're gonna get into a little demo here. Shanice has asked this question. I think it was, this is one from last Thursday. So Shanice is asking, what if I want